Okay, let's get down to it. What was your first impression of Sarah and I?
You mean together as a couple?
No.
It seems like you're holding on to a lot of resentment.
Listen.
I'm just going to advise you to take 2 deep breaths.
Listen.
I think mostly the stress of our engagement came from planning the biggest wedding of the century.
We danced to Cowboy Take Me Away. That was kind of a song that both of us really loved growing up. Shocker.
Hi. Hey. It's Sarah and Lo Beeston, your Fairly Odd Sisters. Woo! Yeah! Please don't make me do it again.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Fairly Odd Sisters. We're here again with Charlie and Ryan. This is part 2 because we just couldn't fit it into one episode. We realized we had been recording for an hour and 15 and we're like, oh crap, we still have so many questions.
We have some good questions to ask them.
And so, yeah, we're just going to dive straight in because we go off into tangents. And so we need the time. we need the space. So let's start right up with you guys getting engaged and then leading to the wedding. So what kind of did that look like for you guys?
Well, I knew that Charlie was going to have to be the one to propose because it just had to be.
Because I'm a control freak.
I was going to let him say it.
I wasn't
Just
going to say
the pause and
like,
look.
Yeah, so I was just kind of waiting because Charlie knew that I was ready. I mean, it was probably like what?
Sarah, do you remember when I called you and said I was going to propose and then I didn't?
Oh.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Wait, you were going to propose at Lake Powell.
Sorry for
Wait,
that,
wait.
nope.
You were going to propose at Lake Powell.
I was the year before.
And I was going to take
I'm just
photos
finding out about
and
this.
pictures, and I was going to be able to be there. I'm
Yeah.
not bitter.
No, I'm sorry.
kidding.
I got spooked. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
big
I
deal.
graduated. I'm going to propose to Ryan. And I was so excited.
Why am I just hearing about this?
You
I
knew.
didn't
I
know
took
that
you
you
ring
knew.
shopping. So you had your
I
hopes
have
up too.
never
Don't
heard
pretend
that
it.
you were going to be proposing at Lake Powell and that you had a whole plan.
I was going to hide and
This
take
is tea.
photos.
I
This is
called
tea.
Sarah. I talked to your mom about it. I was like, okay, this next.
I remember this because I was so excited.
And guys, I didn't do it. I got nervous. I got spooked and it took me.
Did you buy the ring and everything?
No,
You
no.
just were like looking
I
and
brought
planning.
my camera on that trip because I thought
You
it was.
still thought it was going to happen?
I thought it was going to happen.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry.
I'm in shock.
Listen.
I didn't know this.
There was actually a couple months where I think your mom and sister hated me.
No, they legit did, and I wondered why.
I wondered why.
No, I
as
wondered
much-
why
for
it
as
was like
much as-
so hostile.
There was no hostility.
There was just like annoyance because I thought I was ready to be married and then I was gonna go for it and I just couldn't. I was like, the gut
What-
says
yeah, you were
right
just nervous.
person,
I
wrong
never
time.
felt hostile towards you. I
Okay, maybe.
simply just wanted to be there, so I was bummed. But
You also were excited for them to get engaged.
and I was just excited for you to be engaged. But I was not sad or mad about it.
I forgot about this. I got everyone's hopes up and then just dashed them.
I mean, I'll say I was a little disappointed when
Of
it didn't happen.
course.
I was like, wait.
You thought
why?
this was a trip
I
of
was
a
so
lifetime.
scared. I was like, wait. Why isn't it happening? Like, why?
Are they fighting?
Same.
What's going on in that bedroom?
I'll
What
say a
bedroom?
whole
We were
lot of-
living in two separate places.
a whole
yeah.
lot of nothing. No, she's talking about on the houseboat.
Yeah, on the
But
house.
I was sleeping in the kid cuddy. I wouldn't sleep in the same bed because we weren't married yet.
Yeah.
There's too much to unpack here.
Anyway, sorry for the
This
dupe.
is
So a year
horrifying.
later, you just say, I'm ready for this.
Right person, wrong time. And then
Is there something in my tooth?
You have a thing in your teeth,
sorry.
and there's also a hair on the microphone. Do you want to know these things?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to check. It's
Because
in.
these close-ups aren't going to
Here,
be
give me your
nice.
fingernail.
honestly
This
though,
is what we need in the podcast.
your mom hated me for a little bit.
Whoa, that was big.
Yeah, it was.
That's what she said.
You think she was
I
actually
can't
mad?
say-
Because I wasn't actually
Waiting
mad.
for
I
it.
just wanted to be there.
She totally was.
Oh.
But we can let that slide. Anyway, yeah, right person, wrong time. About probably 9 or 10 months later.
What was the right time for me? Where are these hairs coming from?
I think your hair was on my microphone.
Where does this come from? Hair full of.
A lion's mane of hair.
You look like a poodle.
Heyo.
What is up with this hair?
Jeez.
I had a big freak out moment and I like cried a bunch and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm getting married. This is weird and all that little childhood shame like erupted. And then
Kaboom.
and then I woke up the next morning and I was like, I feel good. I feel really good about this.
Ryan's life. He doesn't even know the life direction that it was gonna go, and then it didn't. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay.
Well, I mean, this is later.
This is horrifying.
Yeah. And then, like, the morning I woke up and felt good, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to move forward with this. I feel great about it.
Yeah.
And then I proposed. And it
Oh,
was-
you're talking about in
I'm talking
Missouri.
about later.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about at Lake Powell. You were feeling
No.
bad. You didn't propose, and then you woke
Well,
up and
I
you're like, I'm
was
good.
feeling bad, and everyone hated me.
You got
Including
everyone's
Ryan.
hopes up, and then you just like dropped it. See, I didn't know that was happening.
But
though.
we got promise rings, though.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't propose, but I was like, I can't propose. I feel weird about getting married, but I will promise that, like, you're my person. And if
Yeah.
I marry anyone, it
cute.
will be you.
Aw.
So Charlie ended up telling us that he was going to do it in Missouri,
Mm-hmm.
and so we couldn't be there, which is fine.
Is it?
Wasn't I supposed to get a FaceTime call, and I didn't even get a FaceTime call?
No, you just didn't answer it.
That's not true.
That's so
That-
accurate, probably.
No, it's true. Sarah, it's true.
Sorry.
Because your
Shots
mom and
fired.
dad both answered.
We were on a trip.
Oh.
We were on a trip on the cruise. Were we on a cruise? What month did you get engaged?
April.
April.
We were- No. Where
I
were
don't
we?
remember.
We should look
There
back.
was
we
a
should look
reason
back
because
at our
I-
names and see.
Yeah, we got
Sarah
to.
is the absolute worst at answering her phone
Are we? Is this turning into this?
at all times.
Is this turning
And
into?
we're back, folks.
It literally, I will call her.
I'd rather
and then,
you talk about my toenails.
And then, and then, like 3 days later,
hope
I'll get a
everyone
call
who
back
didn't
from her, and
watch
she'll
the
be like,
first one.
"Oh, hey, I just saw I missed your call. What were you wanting?" And I was like, "I have no idea. That was 3 days ago." But how are you? It's good to hear from you.
Good to know you're alive.
I'd like to say I am living in. There's no excuse. I'm
All-
living in the
all I'm
present. I'm
saying
living in the
is-
present time.
All I'm saying is, Derek better have someone else
Say
as
what
his
you're gonna
emergency
say.
contact.
Say what you're gonna say right now.
I'm
No,
living
say
in
it.
Throw
present
hands.
time.
Through all the hands.
No, it's just so silly.
It's just a silly
It's
thing.
just a silly little
I
thing.
have
No,
become
I
better.
will say,
I'm trying.
yesterday or 2 days ago, my phone died. And I didn't answer my phone because it was dead the whole morning. I was out like filming a job. And I get back and Tanner's like, Sarah thinks you're dead because you didn't answer your phone. I'm like, this is the one time. Listen, I haven't answered her phone. I'm like, she does this to me on the daily.
Hold on. You left out half of the story. You left out half the story. This is what happened.
You're
We did
already
say
behind.
tangents.
I am up at. Listen to me. I am up at 7 in the morning.
Some
I was
mom
gonna
rage
go
coming out.
to 7:30 a.m. burn boot camp to get
Yeah.
my butt kicked, which we do together.
Yeah.
And I thought Lo's not gonna go to 7:30. Okay, I'll do 8:30. And then 8 o'clock rolls around, and I'm texting Lo. I'm like, "Hey, are we gonna go to burn boot camp together?"
Is this an advertisement?
No. I'm just kidding. So she doesn't text me back. I text Tanner, is Lo awake? I want to go to burn. Whatever. He's like, oh, I don't even know what Tanner said. I don't even know if he responded. But then I say, do you want to go to 9:30 burn? And she says, yar. Okay. She says, Y-A-R, yar.
Yar.
And so I'm thinking in my head, I'm going to see her at 9:30. That's what she said. Yar. I go to burn boot camp. Lo never shows up. She says yes and then never comes.
I forgot that I had a job to film and then
Yeah.
my phone died.
Okay, convenient though. You could have said, hey, I'm not actually coming because I was waiting for you, looking through the door,
Sarah,
where
it
my
seems-
partner at.
It seems like you're holding on to a lot of resentment.
Listen,
I'm just going to advise you to
I
take
just-
2 deep breaths.
listen. She just said that I thought she was dead because I missed one call. No, she told me she was coming. That's why I thought you were dead. And then I texted, I called, no response.
It hurts on the other end, doesn't it?
That's also what she said.
Just kidding. We love you. Anyway.
Yes. Okay.
I'm not even going to say
Anyway.
that I am trying to be a better communicator. And also I get lumped in with my husband, who is the worst communicator, when I've actually tried
That's
to be
what I'm
better.
saying. You guys both need to put someone else as your emergency contact.
Make sure it's not.
Yeah, we could do that.
Good idea.
We should do that.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, back on to you guys. So
We went to Missouri, hometown. I went to
did
this little
that even-
chapel.
How did that even get to that point of roastingness? Missouri, beautiful
you
love.
guys are just going to have to like duke it out sometime.
Did I do it? Did I do that? I feel like I was just observing.
Anywho,
Beautiful engagement. Beautiful engagement. Let's talk about it.
Go
Flowers.
ahead.
all right. So
No,
you're
please.
finally proposing. You're ready to do this. This is 2 years after you guys are dating, or how long have you been dating?
We got married.
It was-
3 years to the day we met.
No, so it was like 2.5 years.
Okay.
So we went to go visit Charlie's family, and it's just funny. I haven't thought about this in a long time because right after it happened, we told a bunch of people, and now I'm like trying to remember the details on the spot. But I remember I was packing for the trip, and Charlie was talking about this dinner that we were supposed to go to with his high school friends, and he's like, "It's gonna be like Missouri fancy, but like a little bit more." And I'm like, okay. And so I was like trying to pick out an outfit, and I had him on FaceTime, and he's like, "No, don't wear that." And he was being very particular about what I was going to be wearing. And so I was like, okay, there's no way this is a Missouri.
He was like, I know how people
Throw
dress
down,
where you're
throw down.
from.
Yeah, a friends get together. I was like, I could be wearing like jeans and a crop top. And actually, no, that's not. It's
A
Midwest.
crop
It's the
top.
Midwest.
You're trying
Actually,
to get
no.
run out of town.
Yeah. Anyway, so he was being very particular about what I was wearing, and I was like, I think something's going on here. So I picked out my outfit, packed with the bags. We were there for a few days, hanging out with his family. It was great. And then the day came when we were supposed to be going to this dinner. And so we got all ready. I like took extra care to get ready and made sure I look really good just because I knew that Charlie was planning something special. He didn't know I knew. And I think I made a real effort as well to try and be sensitive because Charlie is very ceremonial.
If I have
And,
something important, I get in this mindset and I'm just like,
like
to be perfect.
I knew
Yeah.
I was one dirty joke away from ruining the entire thing. So I just like held it together and I made sure that I was, you know, really in the right mindset so that it was special for both of us. And so we went to this restaurant. It was a cute place by the river. And he's like, hey, everyone's not here yet. So let's go walk over the river and kind of look around and see what's going on. And so I was like, okay.
I don't know anything.
I know what's going on. And so we walk over the bridge and there's this cute little chapel that's facing a waterfall, and the back of the chapel doesn't have any walls. And so you can just see out into the forest. It was the perfect temperature outside. It was like the sun was starting to set. So it was golden hour. And we get up to this chapel and he's like, I'm trying to remember what you said exactly, but it was like, I wanted to give this to you a while ago and I realized that I couldn't. I'm really sorry for that, but I'm excited to give it to you now. And so we open the doors of the chapel and he has this aisle set up down the center, lined with easels of photos from our entire relationship in like sequential order, all the like fun memories that we had together. So we stopped at each easel and kind of went through all the moments
That's
of
really sweet.
it was so sweet that we got to kind of see our relationship put up like that and be able to just look at it and see all the things that we'd gone through. And then we got like halfway through and he was like, and this right here is where I wanted to propose to you. And I'm so sorry that I couldn't give that to you.
Oh,
Lake Powell.
No, you had a photo of Lake Powell?
Yeah.
I thought you were tricking him in that moment. Okay, so you
I don't
showed
think
him.
it was Lake Powell because I still am shocked about that. Like I had no idea.
Well, it was
It was like
that time,
around
though.
the time he's
Yeah.
like, and this is like
Okay.
around the time in our relationship when this was supposed to happen. And that was really, really sweet. So we went through all the photos and then we got to the end and we're surrounded by candles and he really did a really good job. He did a great job.
Thanks.
And then he got down on one knee and asked me to marry him. And I was like, yes, of course I want to marry you. And then I also took my turn and I was like, is it okay if I ask you as well? And so then I got down on one knee and asked him. And it was just a really cute experience. And then his family was like hiding in the bushes. And there was also a photographer hiding in the bushes that was like
Should've
taking
been
photos
me.
from afar. She got poison
She got
ivy.
poison ivy.
Oh, shouldn't
Yeah,
have been
she
me.
was in like a full ghillie suit.
Stop it.
Welcome to the Midwest. You don't touch the plants.
Oh my.
Scary.
Poison
You were
ivy
somewhere on a cruise.
Seems like a fake thing.
But then his family jumped out
not.
and they
I
had
have
like
stories.
Family jumped out.
What?
Charlie's family jumped out and they had like silly string and they like were shooting us with silly string while the photographer was taking photos. It was very, very cute.
That's sweet. It
Yeah.
was a beautiful setup.
Yeah,
The
it
photos
was
were
cute.
awesome. It was so cute.
It all worked out.
You did a good job.
Very,
Thanks.
very
It
cute.
was very cute.
Was it kind of roses for your engagement, or do you feel like that was a stressful time?
It was stressful.
It
planned-
wasn't stressful for me. It was stressful for him.
Yeah, it was stressful for me. Well, there was like a lot of life changes I had to like get in order. I had to like remove and republish my books because there was just a lot of like socio-political issues that I was trying to manage.
You had to get your house in order before you were able to.
Yeah,
make
I
this
did.
change.
And so that was stressful for me. And it was actually really hard to feel like a lot of stuff I worked on couldn't keep moving forward. I was actually really afraid that by announcing our engagement that I would like lose a lot of
Credibility.
Like you lose the
or-
trust of a lot of people that you've
that's
been
exactly what I'm
talking
trying to say. Yeah, because I've been working so hard to build bridges in this community, and I was really surprised at the community response actually, because people understood, and I think we'd given enough time and shown enough of ourselves to have them understand our hearts, you know, and then for some reason, like they were like, oh, that makes sense. Like you should have a happy relationship. And that's
Yeah.
kind of different. Like it's kind of an influx moment for like members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to be really supportive of a gay couple. And it was really cool. And I was not anticipating that. So I was scared before that happened. But I think mostly the stress of our engagement came from planning the biggest wedding of the century.
Well, I
Yeah.
feel like it all built up to the engagement, and then as soon as the engagement was over, it like hit both of us, and we're like, "Oh, we only have a couple months to figure out how to do this,"
Yeah.
and that's when the stress started for me.
Yeah. Our wedding was great though, wasn't it?
The wedding was so freaking
Tell us
fun.
about what you thought about our
Experiencing
wedding.
it.
I
Oh my
don't
gosh.
remember any of it, so please tell me about it.
First of all, come to the ceremony. We're in a circle. Everyone and the guests are all in a circle, and like the entire ceremony, everyone's sobbing, including me. I couldn't
we
stop
actually
crying.
have a really great picture of you crying that our photographer
It was
took.
probably so ugly because I'm not a cute crier. But like
At least you weren't on the stage with the microphone bawling your eyes out. I'm like,
just like the second I see both.
it was horrible.
It was so special to see both of you walking down. Like I started crying before you even started because I just like seeing you guys see each other and knowing that this is about to happen and like what you guys have gone through in this relationship. And it was
Aw.
just so special to
That's
see
so
and
nice.
witness. And it was the greatest ceremony. I loved it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we decided to get married at the Utah State Capitol because it kind of like portrayed who we are. Like there's like we both come from like Mormon pioneer heritage, and there's like murals of pioneers on the wall as we're trying to pioneer this new life of what it looks like to be gay
They
in this
got-
community.
They got to watch us be so gay.
It's so funny. I know. It's so funny that you say that to me because I feel like your wedding is the opposite of that almost because it was so like
Pioneering.
purple. Yes, because it was like purple flashing lights and like
Well,
cameras
it
and like
all
it
was.
was yes
For the
yes,
dance
that's-
party.
No, but like everything was just so stunning. It looked like a New York wedding almost
Right.
with the flowers and the
Right,
every
but
detail.
that-
But so it was just funny to me to hear you be
That
like,
that's
it
what
was
I
like
go
a
to.
pioneer. Like I
Because
just
that's
thought,
what I
No,
mean.
the idea.
We had a
I-
wardrobe
I know
change.
what you're saying.
I was
It's
dressed
just
in
funny.
a bonnet and a petticoat, and then I changed into for the dance party. I'm just kidding. That didn't happen.
This
Yeah.
is like a really like stately religious
Yes.
and political building. It's like
100%.
floor
Yeah.
to ceiling marble with grand staircases,
Yes.
and it like encapsulates our heritage. It was really cool.
It was
and we're like
a grand wedding.
Yeah.
It was.
yeah, and we had everyone dressed in black. I was so nervous that a guest would show up not in like,
in, like,
black
hot
formal.
pink.
Yeah, but nobody
Yeah.
did. Everyone killed the dress code, and all the men were in tuxedos. Everyone looked beautiful.
It was very
And
fun.
It was so surreal to just like walk down the aisle and have everyone we love and everyone who supported us through our difficult relationship just be there, like literally encircling us. It was really
so,
cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why it hit me too. Like I was like totally fine. Like I was feeling a little bit nervous, like butterflies, but I was just excited to finally be getting to this point. And then like halfway down the stairs, I just like started sobbing uncontrollably. I think we set up, like, in my mind, the perfect display for us, where each of us coming down from either side, looking at each other, meeting our parents at the end of the aisle. I'm seeing all these people from different places and times in my life that I never thought would be sitting in the same room, let alone watching me marry a man. It was just
It was beautiful.
It was the strangest thing in the world, and I couldn't control
It's like
myself.
overwhelming love. Like you're just like, oh.
It was the circle of
And
love.
no one was uncomfortable with it. Everyone was just fully present. That's
And
probably
if
why you
they
didn't
were,
answer
they
your
kept
phone.
it very quiet.
Nobody knew.
Yeah, no one was hesitant to
No
love
one
us
stood
and
up and
support
said,
us.
I object.
Everyone's like, gay.
Oh my gosh.
No, but really
special.
sitting in the audience, it was so special.
We got a
The
good
whole
crying picture of you as well.
No, my gosh.
We'll give
Shocker. The
we'll
entire
show it.
internet
We
sees me
can
cry
show
every
our-
other
Here it is,
episode.
people.
Here's our
Right
cry
here.
faces.
Oh my
Lauren and Sarah both crying at our wedding.
That's
And
amazing.
we'll put one of Ryan crying for good measure.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
I'm sure there's lots of them. I was literally just blubbering through my.
It was the
my
sweetest
vows.
vows. I couldn't handle it.
It went from the sweetest everything to like the most wild
Party.
party
Like the
everything.
dances, the performances,
Oh.
the everything. I was
It was very
Charlie
spectacle.
performed
Yeah.
a full routine,
He
I
did.
did.
and he brought the other
Cosmos.
were they cheerleaders or
Cosmos and
Cosmos
cheerleaders
Yeah, all my
and
Cosmo and Dunk Team
dancers.
buddies and Cougaret friends, and we just put on like a spectacular.
It was
really fun.
truly so entertaining.
Thank you.
I learned to dance for
Yeah,
Charlie.
Sarah danced.
It was
Sarah's in it.
insane. I will never do that again. But
You did a really good job.
Also, another favorite moment was when you played the song. You guys had your first dance, and there was this beautiful, like, lyrical dance going on around you guys.
Yeah.
The visuals, the scene you guys first, it was just so amazing.
Ryan sang their first dance song,
Yeah.
which is
I
super
mentioned,
special.
yeah, I mentioned that in the first episode. We danced to "Cowboy Take Me Away." That was kind of a song that both of us really loved growing up. Shocker.
Just want to run away from our
Are you
problems.
sure? Are you sure it wasn't
cowboy.
save a horse, ride a cowboy? But I'm gonna stop.
Sarah,
That is so vulgar. I can't believe you would say that.
Sarah, watch this.
why
though.
did you say that,
Sarah,
Sarah?
that didn't happen until later.
I regret. Retreat,
Anyway,
retreat.
so the same dancers that we had for the other dance also danced around us while we were doing, because we had our event company build a platform for us. It's the same one that we set in the center of the rotunda with all the chairs sitting around us during the ceremony.
Wow,
and
look
that's
at you
what,
using
and,
big words.
I was gonna say rotunda again.
I like that.
and that's what and that's what we danced on. So we kind of made it a center view, and so that everyone could see what was happening. And I think both of us have been to a lot of less entertaining weddings, and so we wanted to make sure that our guests were going to have a good time, which in turn made us very, very tired and anxious because we were the entertainment.
Okay, on the back end of that, was that how it felt? Kind of a little bit stressful.
I was running on adrenaline and anxiety.
But
Yeah.
the ceremony, do you feel like
The
that
ceremony,
was
the
so?
ceremony was absolutely flawless.
It was
Yeah.
It was
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah.
And after that, it felt like all hell broke loose, and we were like,
You were literally emceeing.
yeah, yeah,
So
which
that's
I
a lot of
actually really
stress.
liked.
It
Like,
was fun.
I thought it was really fun to MC
Yeah,
and like connect with people that way. But honestly, it was just so. There were like 1,100 people there.
So many.
It was huge, and we talked to almost everyone. It was just very quick, and we were trying to like keep a
Yeah.
schedule.
Yeah.
And we didn't have time to eat, so we just like downed energy drinks and just
Yeah.
were like, let's get back out there.
I think I cried out a lot of my nerves during the ceremony. So afterwards, like emceeing it wasn't, I think I even mentioned that too. Like while I was up there talking, I was like, I'm just so excited to which is not like me at all. I normally get really nervous talking in front of crowds, but I was just like, let's have fun. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
so glad all of you are here. Thanks
Yeah.
for celebrating with us. It was
It's
just
fun too.
such a lovely
It
night.
felt really sacred, and then it felt really fun. And I loved it.
It was the perfect combo,
Yeah,
for sure.
It was wonderful.
honestly, didn't want it to end.
Was there any tea? What went wrong? What happened?
So much.
Did anybody get together at the
Gee.
wedding?
Yeah, let me try and think. Literally no tea.
My husband was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
That's the tea.
We do have photos of Tanner pushing Derek in the wheelchair on the
yes.
dance floor.
I am sad I haven't seen these wedding photos. I haven't seen any of
You
them.
haven't seen any of
No
them?
one's sent me
It's
them.
on my
No
to-do
one's-
list to
We're
send
still
out
trying to
all
process it.
all of the photos of the people who are in them. That's like on my to. We don't even have thank you cards out yet.
It's okay.
okay.
You have a year.
Well, we had 1,100 people at our wedding.
That's a lot.
That's
And
a
we
lot.
had like a couple months. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Should we tell a funny story?
What,
Is it about
which
the wedding
story?
or something
It's
else?
about leaving the
Okay, yeah.
wedding.
Oh, yeah. That's
Okay,
a funny
Tell it.
story.
So
Tell
we
the
get
tea.
we get in the getaway car and drive off, and it's like this amazing moment with everyone. We had like
The cheer pom-poms.
pom-poms because I was a cheerleader. It was so fun, and we're leaving, and we're just like sitting back in this car as we're driving to the hotel we were staying at that night, and we were just like, wow, like we are so blessed. Like what an amazing. We were just like really in the feels about how expansive it was and how beautiful it felt, and then knock 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 on the car window. This lady's like, "Hey boys, want to see some boobs?"
Driving through
joking.
downtown Salt Lake City, and this lady is
She
trying
walked
to.
up to your car?
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
knocked on your window.
It was
Hey, boys. Did you say yes?
well. Listen, both of us, we turn to her and we both go, "No." I thought you were gonna do it with me.
She was
It was
so
like your great
offended.
aunt Darcy or something.
No, she was like a little bit tipsy and
Oh,
just
no.
like
It's like, really? You
really,
don't-
really confident. But
No.
poor girl, I felt so bad. She was shot down so hard. But like,
You're-
bro,
But why are
like,
you knocking on her?
we're two gay guys and we just got
I'm like,
married. I mean, maybe
read the
some people
room.
would have been like, "Yeah, let's see some tatas," and I was like, "I'm good."
I'm good. For real, I'm good.
Because both, at the same time, we both go, "No."
And I can just see you guys having this deep combo, and then
You're like,
knock,
you're
knock, knock.
throwing
She
off our
was
groove.
so offended.
Oh,
They were probably
Did you
beautiful
just roll
boobs.
it back up?
I don't.
We wish her well.
I don't know if they were.
They've been seen
Not
too
to them
many
anyway.
times.
The juxtaposition though was so funny.
That is hilarious.
Oh my
She
gosh.
definitely barked up the wrong tree.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
did.
So, you guys are married now. How is it when you're hanging out in a group and you're hanging out with your guy friends and they're also gay?
Yeah.
Is there like jealousy there? Is that weird?
Isn't that interesting
Because
to think
that's
about?
like
Interesting.
that's like me going to hang out with a bunch of like single guys.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how is that in your relationship and how do you handle that or navigate it?
Mm-hmm.
Because you guys do have a lot of single gay guy friends.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like it's interesting, and honestly, for me, it kind of does go back to like the locker room. Just like,
Teach me.
well, just
I know
like
what you're
the
saying.
way that
Teach
we
them.
Teach me.
just
Teach us
like
over here.
the way that we grew up as men. When you go change in the locker room, even though you're gay, you're still changing around other men.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're with your guy friends, you know, like straight men do the gayest things. Like back to the football team reference that we talked about in the last one. It was just like,
Good
you know,
game, bro. Slap your butt.
Yeah.
yeah, they're like slapping
Play
each other's
chicken.
butts. Like I've never seen men do gayer things than in the locker room. You know, they're just like they're just being silly.
Yeah.
But it's all like, these are the things that we're seeing when we go in the locker room. And you would think that that would be like, oh, that's really, really hot and like sexual, but it's not.
Is
You
it
know?
because you were exposed at such a young age so that's
It's
just normal?
like,
or
that's what you do. Like,
Yeah, it's well, I mean,
I don't know.
we're attracted to men, but we also are men. So there's this element of like
it's like compartmentalization.
it like falls in a different category almost, right?
so you don't get jelly when Ryan walks into the boss of the locker room and is changing.
Sometimes, but like I just have to check myself on that. Like there's a lot of what do you make?
Let me just say, the person that you would want to see naked is never the person who's naked in a locker room.
That's true.
I just
It's always-
I picture Tanner and Derek having us walk into a locker room and
Or-
changing in
or-
front of
If
guys.
he went into like a
imagine,
girl's
imagine
locker
every
room,
day
I would
Tanner goes
be
to the
like,
gym and is
"Nah."
changing in the girls' locker room.
No, I would
Right.
be like affected by that.
Right, for
Yeah.
sure. So I think there's a lot of ways that society isn't like set up for a gay couple to thrive, and we just have to communicate a lot more. We have to really work through things and trust each other a lot more, I think.
also,
Imagine
I
the
don't-
boys seeing a bunch of like naked girls changing.
Yeah, that would
That'd
be
be
hard.
hard.
But also that goes to like, I mean, obviously like everyone is like most people are sexual beings. You know, there's some people who are less sexual or will identify as, or saying that they're less sexual, but
Asexual is what it's called.
thank you. But it's just what you are used to. Like if you guys were used to changing around men all the time, your entire life, you grew up changing around men, it would be a different story. You would know what was happening in the locker room. And
I think the truth's somewhere in the middle, because I think we do have to communicate and trust a lot more. Like if I go out of town and you're hanging out with our friends, you're hanging out with single gay guys.
Right.
And I could feel a way about that, but I trust you a lot. And I also understand what it is to connect with someone. Because like, I feel like relationships with other gay men, they just get it more than other people. There's just like some sort of like shared sense of life experience there that.
Well, yeah. And I think, you know, you could find a way to cheat if you wanted to in any relationship. You know, if you, let's say same situation, you're out of town and it's like a heterosexual relationship, your partner could choose to cheat,
right?
You know, if they wanted to. Yeah, it's just, you know,
I'm interested that we kind of see different, because I think we actually have to communicate a lot more and trust each other a lot more, because there isn't social division that's predetermined, right? Because if
there's like a line drawn almost,
right,
in another, like for me, like it'd be like, I don't really want you hanging out with just single girls,
right?
Like, you know,
but I don't know. Or I think of like if I go on a guy's trip, that's kind of been an issue sometimes. Like, hey, I'm gonna go hang out with my buddies, and you're like, well, I'm a guy too. Can I come? And I'm just like, well, but then that changes the dynamic, right? Because then there's a couple on the guy's trip.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think of
That's
that.
a whole other thing.
Because you're like, I want to go on my girl's trip. And then if I was married
And
to a
there's a
girl,
clear
she'd be like, well,
definition.
can I come?
Right.
You know?
and then you're still there with your spouse.
Yeah.
So that happens to us a lot.
That's wild. I didn't think about that.
It actually just happened to us when we went to Mexico. We're on this like guys business retreat, and then it's like, and also we're a couple.
Yeah.
But we actually
Kind of fun, because then you get to go a lot together, but it's also like you don't get that.
Right. But we also kind of like slip into, I feel like me and you are really good at slipping into friends or slipping into like husbands, right? If the vibe calls for us to just be friends, we can do that pretty well. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense in like a boys trip situation, because if you don't want to go on a girls trip and then have a couple there like being super like, you know, involved with each other. You're like, no, we're supposed to be gossiping and talking about our husbands because they're not here.
You could like split the friend group in half. One of you go with these two, and
yeah.
Okay, does being gay automatically give you a leg up in the style department? Because
Asking for a friend.
because I feel like you just have good style. It's just in you.
I
Do
mean,
all gay people have really good, clean style?
No.
I know one who doesn't.
I know one. You have one in mind.
No, it's
Like,
not.
what are you
I
doing?
think it is a stereotype for a reason, and I think it's probably because as gay people, we're trying to put a good like foot forward, and we're trying to like present in a good way so that we're accepted, because we're so used to like hiding a part of ourselves that is not going to be accepted. And so we try to be good at things and put a good foot forward, and looking good is our stereotype for a reason, you know, like getting fit and dressing well is so that we're more accepted in society.
Like having a good hairstyle. I feel like it's so.
And
Like
so then
it's empowering.
And then it turns into
is.
a competition, because, you know, you go and you look at the competition of who you're going to be dating, and you're like, oh, you know, I got to look better than so-and-so. And then it just turns into this thing.
Whoa. That sounds so toxic to me.
What do you mean?
Like you kind of.
I'm just like always comparing myself to other people.
No, I'm like talking about just like gay culture in general. You know,
I will
it's like
say-
everyone's trying to look good.
Yeah.
You guys have opinions on style too. That's for sure.
We definitely
You
do.
remember when you told me I was wearing a hospital gown for a dress?
You
remember that?
I mean, it was true.
Do you want us to tell you or
Charlie
not?
walked into my house and said, "That vase is so ugly. I hate it."
Called out.
He totally did. He's like,
really
what
did.
is this? She's like, it's a strawberry. And we're like,
No,
He's
it's
like,
not.
"I absolutely hate it. I despise it."
it's like, it looks like cellulite and acne at the same time.
You said that.
Okay. So here's the deal. This is what we're learning. if you want an honest opinion, ask a gay man.
Have a gay friend.
We have to tell you.
You have to say the truth because you held in the truth for so long.
Everything I say is the truth.
There's
Bomb.
no more
It's like
lies.
there's no more lies. I am only
There's no
truth
time.
telling.
The worst part about the vase thing is that you kept going, and I had to say, "Hey, she likes the strawberry vase. You guys need to cut it out.
Should we bring it out and do a poll?
Here's a picture of the strawberry.
Go get the strawberry vase."
No, I do think that there is like a certain level of creativity. Like, and I don't know if it's like a gift or the way we see the world. I think there's something about like the queer mind that sees life a little
You
differently.
see in color.
Yeah, like Ryan and I almost always have the exact same like design opinions. Whether
Yeah.
someone's building a house or designing a room, where it's just like that doesn't go there, it needs to be here, or this needs to change. We need to add something.
Do you
Don't
guys have
ask
this
for the truth if you
similar-
don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Do you guys have a similar style? Would you say?
I think so. I think both of us just it's different, but both of us can hit a style.
We both have very different bodies.
Oh, I thought I was talking about like interior design.
Oh, I was talking about clothing.
Oh,
So I was right.
Ryan, how we actually are running into this problem where we keep buying the same things.
Really?
And then we like are wearing the same.
Can you share? You can share clothing,
We
right?
can't.
Not
Why?
really.
Because-
He's 6'3" and I'm 5'10", and I'm also like broad in the chest.
Ryan has huge muscles and
Big pectoralis
yeah,
majors.
and I have bigger feet than he does.
Oh, they're major.
Oh.
What's major? But unlike Sarah, I trim my toenails. But so
I don't have
like,
talents.
we can sometimes share coats
I don't currently still have talents. Please go watch the first episode.
again.
She
I don't actually. I haven't
Going
had
back to it
talent
for
since
1
I was
second.
10, and I actually don't even know if I,
I
had
feel like I
talents
was kind
then.
of valid. All of her socks and the
Because
big toe
you
had a
never-
hole in them.
That is not true. You
It is
cannot.
100% true.
You literally cannot be a tennis player and have long toenails. I would not have tonails.
Then why did every
You
single
just-
one of your
and you
socks have a
never
hole in
talk-
it?
you never
And
talk-
just the big toe.
Let me speak, Ryan. You literally,
They're such siblings. I can't even.
you literally never even talked about my toenails. You said my toes were ugly. Not even the toenails. You literally made that crap up and then threw it online in the last episode.
Right, this isn't going well for me. Just saying, if you want the brutal, honest truth, ask a gay man. Sarah, I'm gonna have to see the toes.
Do you want me to pull? I'm not pulling out my
Show
piggies.
him the
I'm
toes.
not doing it. I'm not putting my piggies out there for weird people.
Oh my
Block
God.
them only for Charlie to see.
We're just gonna have mom
People
verify.
are gonna think that
The hole
it was
in
not
every
a toenail.
single
There was not. Again,
You guys, we're going way too far.
Okay.
We can't share clothes. We do have similar styles, and we always agree on interior
do people?
design.
Great recap.
This is actually insane.
I always had holes in the knees of my pants, and you always had holes in the big toe of your socks.
This is
In the last
so,
We're the same.
You know
If
when
you
you
didn't
feel
listen.
like you're in a bad dream because you know that untrue things are being said about you.
It's like on The Bachelor, you know,
You
when
can't-
you're like, oh, feels like that moment, like where they're fighting and they're like, I know my truth. And they're like, I know that you did this.
Timeline, screenshots.
I can't get out of this. Okay, well, let's talk about your hair instead of my
Well, let's talk about your hair.
Do you feel like people are attached to your guys' hair? Because Charlie had these beautiful curls and then he freaking shaved them off to be
Yeah.
Travis Kelce. And you still have beautiful curls, which I didn't get. How did I not get these jeans?
I don't know.
Where were those jeans for me?
At the back
You
of the
got
closet,
beautiful
babe.
straight too.
That's where I was for a long
I got
time.
ugly.
That's where I found them.
Apparently, I got ugly toes and he got great hair. So
Your toes are great now.
No.
There is this joke, I will say, based on the last conversation, that gay men have such good style because we
Yeah.
spent so long in the closet.
wow.
You like
Oh,
that?
that's a good one.
Ba-da-boom.
Wait, so do you feel like you could tomorrow just like cut your hair and be
No.
fine?
No, he would divorce me.
That's clause for divorce.
Divorce.
We actually
I'm pretty
like,
sure he has it insured.
Oh,
we
yeah.
wrote that into the prenuptial
So
agreement.
the hair will stay until you're gray and old.
Yeah, sponsored by Geico.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Charlie,
I didn't
this
get
is
that
a
one.
serious
Auto
question.
and hair.
What I
Are you
love-
letting the man go if he shaves his head?
I'm not gonna let him go, but I do love his hair.
But
It's so pretty.
you
It's
weren't
iconic.
attached to his hair when he shaved it.
I told him he could do whatever he
No,
wanted.
you told me I looked ugly for weeks. After I shaved my hair, he's like,
Be honest.
I was like, your hair looks stupid.
Before you did it, I told you could do whatever you want.
And then I was honest.
No, I kept telling him he could do whatever he wanted. I was still honest. I was like, no, I like your other hair better. Like
Yeah.
the curls are iconic.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine him ever saying something like that with tact, though?
No.
You understand
No.
what I deal with.
It came out flat out as
Yeah.
your toes are ugly.
In his mind, he's like, I feel like I like a different hairstyle on you better. And in reality, he's like, you look bad.
Listen, there were some
no.
weeks in there.
Whoa, is my hair out?
Everyone knows that when you're growing your hair back out, there's some weird times.
There is.
There
And
is.
Tanner's done that to me a lot of times.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like, I'm sorry, what do you want me to say? It's like, yeah, your hair looks
It goes
weird.
into Q-tip stage where
Yeah.
there's like just a puff on the top,
Right.
you know, because it's just
Honestly,
growing.
though, Tanner's hair is way better short than long. Can I
You
just
know
say
what?
that?
Can I just say something else?
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Well,
Wait, do you agree
no,
with me?
no. I'm just saying. Oh, because I like Tanner's hair like a mid-length.
Yeah, he looks great with mid-length.
But I will say that like my brother worked with a couple of gay guys, and both of them would tell him, Tanner needs to shave his head again. He's so hot with the shaved head.
I don't know what it is about gay men, and
a
there's
shaved
this
head.
little like thing that like tickles gay men when they see a man with a shaved bleached head. I don't know what happens.
yeah.
But you guys agree with me on the mid-length.
He look,
Yeah.
Honestly, Tanner looks super hot with a shaved head.
You think the shaved head?
Of course I do. But
Of course I do.
Tanner's
I-
gonna shave
again,
his head
this is
next
how I'm
week.
different.
Literally,
from all
he
other gay
tells me all the
men.
time. He's like, I need to shave my head. The gays love it. And I'm like, okay.
we do. But I
It takes
think
a very secure man to say that.
he also wore a crop top on the two episodes
I know,
ago.
and everyone's like so confused.
The crop
I'm like,
top with
I'm
his
sorry.
earring.
I saw that.
I support all of it.
He looks like Ken.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, I think Tanner's best with shaved head or mid-length.
Yeah, that's
I did not like the long hair on him.
yeah.
Sorry, Tanner.
Oh,
I mean, there's pictures
I
of
do-
him right behind the cameras with long hair. I think
Yeah.
it still looks good. I don't think it's his best look, but it looks good.
I don't.
Oh,
Actually, it looks bad.
shots fired.
I'll never let him watch this.
Did you guys
okay.
ever?
Sarah, would you
think-
weigh in on this?
Nah.
Would you like
We
Tanner
don't need
better?
any more. We don't need Reddit threads going around.
Oh my gosh.
That's exactly why I asked.
And everything anonymous people say on the internet's true.
Every single thing that has been said
Every
on the
single
internet
thing.
is true.
I want to
You heard it
assume
here
they
by
have
Charlie
real
first.
jobs. I want to
No,
assume.
you want to assume
Were
that
you
these
gonna ask?
people-
Did we ever
I was just gonna say, did you ever think that people would get so attached to hair?
to our hair?
Because
Yes.
I'm going through that right now, and I'm having like a
People
crisis.
like hate that you have red hair and not blonde.
No, they
people
don't
love
want her to
that-
change
They don't
back.
want me to go back blonde, and I am going to go back
You know what
blonde.
I think
so
it
I
is?
just
Well, maybe this is wrong, but like people want to live vicariously through someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I'm going with that.
so the
Therapist
for
is
all,
looking
for all
This
the
sounds so
no, I get what you're
profound.
saying. I get what you're saying. So for all the people that have wanted to do a drastic change but don't, they get so attached to it.
Right.
And
They're like, they're
so-
doing it.
Yeah, and
Yeah, they're excited, but they're also upset about it too.
Yes, I did not understand when I dyed my hair how attached people would be to my hair.
Oh yeah, people freaked out when I shaved my head.
Yeah,
And I
people
was
get
like,
so
guys,
like,
it'll grow back.
up
It's
in
okay.
arms and so many opinions. And
I'd be
it's
mad
crazy.
if Ryan shaved his head though. But this
Yeah.
is like 7 years of work.
Yeah,
whereas
that's
I
a
could
lot.
grow
I
my
don't know
hair
if
in
it's
5
that
months.
long. It just keeps breaking off. You know, all my curly hair girls,
Yeah.
you get it.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
I like your red hair, but I liked you as blonde.
thank you.
Yeah.
I don't.
The red hair is going. It's just going. It's
It's
gone.
probably hard to
It's-
It's
upkeep.
going, gone.
It's going, gone for everybody. So don't be mean.
You're going back to blonde.
Yes.
It's
My hair's
really
gonna
hard to
fall out.
upkeep.
If
It's
I
really hard.
told you to keep the red, would you do it?
No. The upkeep's too hard, and I honestly feel like I'm more of
Sarah,
a what?
I miss the blonde.
You do.
I do.
I miss it.
I
too.
love you as
That's
a blonde.
honest.
That is
Yeah,
honest.
I like the red. I think it's the red is like sexy and fun,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. You're just a blonde to me.
I think that's how I feel. I don't
No.
feel.
Well, you actually are a blonde. I just feel like I am. I don't know what it is.
I have been blonde
Can
my
I just
whole
say
life.
this is the most blonde conversation?
Wait, is your hair, is that like your natural color?
My root is.
Your root. And
I
is
haven't-
that
it's-
similar
I
to your?
feel as though Try not to say
Feel us,
like.
though. It's okay. You can say like.
I think that's close to my natural. Now, my natural used to be very, very
Are you
blonde.
dyeing your eyebrows red
Yes.
too?
Yes.
How are you going to fix that?
Just like dye them dark
They'll
again.
just go, they fade in
Okay.
weeks, and then even when I had blonde hair, I would dye it like a light brown.
I think it looks good, but it feels like a phase.
Okay, what do you wish that if you could change something in the church with same-sex marriage, what do you think would be the biggest thing that you would change, or like the first thing that you would change?
I think from like a realistic point of view, I would just want there to be maybe a broader understanding of what the experience is actually like for gay people. Because I still think there are a lot of people who have distanced themselves from the issue completely. And so they don't have any experience to draw back on. They don't really know anybody who is gay. And so a lot of the opinions that they have are misinformed. And so I think that goes into the way that they treat gay people. And I mean, that could be for any issue. Anybody who is different, if you don't know them, then how do you really have an opinion about them? You know? So I would like for people to get a little bit more proximity and learn more about the community and the ways that little changes could go a long way. Not even necessarily doctrinal, just like little cultural changes could go a long way to bettering the experience for queer people. And I guess near and dear to our heart is just like the kids who are growing up in the church right now. That's a lot of the reason why I do what I do and am so vocal about these issues, less than Charlie, but because there are kids who are still growing up in the church and they don't have any control, you know, where they were born, what family they were born into. And I want them to have a better experience than I did. And I think just a little bit more understanding, a little bit more grace, would go a really long way.
Yeah, I think I would echo what Ryan said. Like organizationally, there's really like, I think it would actually be really inappropriate for us to ask or expect for changes because we're not in leadership, right? We don't make policies. We don't like, that's just like so out of our realm of what is under like our stewardship or authority that it's just like, I don't even think about that. But I do think about individual families and communities. And I would love for us to continue this cultural shift where we're moving towards compassion and openness and acceptance and curiosity rather than judgment. I just think, I mean, in the last episode, we talked about how just like Ryan coming out and me coming into the family, like healed our family. Right. And that can be happening if we love and accept people as they are. And I think, you know, there's this idea that so many kids in our culture will hear from parents or loved ones like, you're ruining our family, our eternal family, you're messing up our family by coming out. And I actually think the opposite is true. The real risk and danger for families is not loving your children and allowing them to isolate themselves or be pushed out of a circle of belonging. And I just think that mindset really needs to shift because it keeps people alive. It keeps families together when you love and accept people.
I think that can be true, not even just for queer people, but in general for people. Just like the more love, the more openness, the more like kindness that we have towards each other, that will just like would be so helpful.
I just wanted to give like a little background on the church because I feel like we didn't really touch on that. So we all grew up LDS members of the church, and even with Christians, I feel like this is the same. We are taught man and woman, right? Our whole lives. And it's kind of, the Mormon church has this stigma when people that don't know about the church, they think, oh, they associate Mormons don't like gay people. And so that's kind of what we're talking about. Just more of the culture of that, of growing up thinking that that's a bad thing and it wasn't really talked about. And I think what you guys are saying is so important. And I think a lot of it comes down to people need to educate their kids more and have more open conversations. Most of the friends and people that I talk to that grew up LDS, it's kind of just everything feels taboo. Everything feels like it can't be talked about. Parents aren't really talking to their kids a whole lot. And I think that could be like a huge shift in these next generations, that I feel like you guys are bringing all this to light. Like, this is how you can talk to your kids and all these things, because I think that's the biggest thing is like no one talks to you about it. So everything feels wrong.
It's very much coming from a fear-based perspective. It's like, we're not going to let them know about this because then they won't go out and do it. And it's the opposite. It's like, they don't know anything about this, and so now they're really curious. So they're going to go figure it out. It's like, wouldn't you so much rather your kids learn about the world
from you
in a safe space where they're not being pressured to do something that maybe feels wrong, but they're going to do it because it's cool. And that's definitely not the case with being gay, because that doesn't change. But if they feel like they're trying to hide in their house and can't talk to you about things as a parent, like that's not a good space to be in.
Oh, you go, Charlie.
Well, it's just so interesting thinking about hearing my sisters talk about how they explained me and Ryan to my nieces and nephews, who are all like between the ages of like 2 and 9. And they just were so overjoyed to have Ryan be part of the family. They're like, oh my gosh, Uncle Ryan, this is great. And that was it. Like, they didn't have questions. They were just like so thrilled. And Ryan's so cute with them, and he plays with them and throws them and shoots Nerf guns with them. And they're just like excited to have him as part of the family. There's like not, I don't know. So I think we just overcomplicate like how, but the children, how do we explain this? And it's like, you don't need to.
It's actually, you're putting your adult issues into the children. The children are innocent and just accepting and loving as they are. You're making it weird.
Totally. And I just wanted to say that not all members of the church are like that, because a lot of them, I'm sure, have been so loving and supportive of you guys staying in the church and being members and continuing to be members. I think people are just people. And I think in every religion, it's going to be like hit or miss with things. So I don't want to put out like, LDS people don't support gay, because they are. You're going to church. I think that's a fantastic
point. Like, this community has rallied behind us in such a beautiful way. And I feel so safe living in Utah. And I feel like I never feel like we're in physical danger. I feel like people love us. And if anything, a lot of people have gone the extra mile to just be like, hey, you're welcome here. When we moved into our new place, when we started going to our new church congregation, everyone was like, we're so glad you're here. And we're not just saying that. We actually want to learn from you and interact with you. And it's been really cool.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a little bit of a culture shift. And I think people are, with all of the things going on in their lives, they're just being more open and more real with them, where I feel like in past years, past generations, it's been more culturally acceptable to hide what's going on, to kind of put up this front of perfection. And that was really damaging for a long time. But I feel that more people are open to talk about the things that are going on in their lives. And all of a sudden, everyone feels like a real person. It's like, hey, like Charlie and Ryan, we want to make sure you feel accepted here. And the reason that I've come to this conclusion of like loving and accepting you is because I have a child who came out as gay, and like I've seen what that's been like for them, or my grandchild or my niece has come out as gay, and I see how that is. Like, I understand now. I've had hard things happen in my life. So what can I do to help you along in your journey? And I know that you're going to do the same and help me along in my journey. It's just people building people and helping where you can, and being willing to accept help when you can't do everything for yourself. It's just much more humble, much more filled with grace and love. And it's very exciting to see the cultural shift.
Yeah.
You know what else? I feel like it's so cool to be at a point where I don't care what people think as much. Like, if someone doesn't respect me or thinks I'm evil or sinful, I'm just like, you know,
that's on you.
That's your thing. Like, I'm happy and I'm good with God and I'm good with my family. So it's nice to have that confidence.
That is good.
What advice would you give to the teenager yourself back in that moment when you were struggling so bad? What would you say to teenagers or moms and dads of these teenagers to help them and them as a parent?
I would say that, like, shame is the real killer. Secrecy and shame. Secrets make you sick. They really do. And so if there's parts of you that you hate or feel like you need to hide, those might be the most delicate, beautiful parts of you, honestly. And if you're parenting in a family that makes kids feel like they're scared to talk to you about struggles or questions, then like maybe you should examine the way you're parenting. Because like emotions aren't scary, they're information, and authenticity isn't a slippery slope. It's just honest, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
So would your advice be to share with the
As,
ones
like
that love
as
you?
much as you can and feel safe. I think just there were so many ways that I dreamed up worst case scenarios, and we're like, if people you just can make things up in your head and start to believe them. And so many of my fears were actually not true at all. And I was living under this fake world of rejection and isolation that turned real because I let it. And I realized that I didn't have the resources to do anything different, but I hope you do, right? I hope that the next generation does and doesn't have to live in those secrets.
No, I would say just like, if you feel like you need to reach out to somebody, like
Do it.
do it. Like it'll be a good experience to reach out to somebody. And also like, if it doesn't feel right, like you should just listen to what's going on inside
Go
of
with
you.
your gut.
Really examine what you feel you need and then follow that feeling, because your body is going to tell you what you need at any given moment.
That's so true. And I feel like if you are sharing this information and this part of you with someone and they don't accept that, then honestly, that's more on them. Like they need to rethink that. And if they truly love you, they will come back around to you when the time comes. But if they don't accept you, you don't really need them in your life at that
I feel like
time.
that's an indication of it's time to set boundaries and also hopefully extend grace. I always think you should extend the grace and compassion you're hoping to receive. And that can be really hard sometimes, take a lot of grit and patience. But you can set boundaries and you can protect yourself while still being open and compassionate.
Yeah.
And I think for sure you're going to have to kind of navigate if it's safe, if whoever you're telling, like if it's a parent figure and you're still dependent on that person for your livelihood or your safety, like definitely consider, you know, maybe how that person is going to react. And if your safety is ever going to be at risk, then, you know, that might be something to address and maybe wait, you know, a little bit until you're in a place where you can be safe coming out. 'Cause it's not a good situation for everybody.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I think that's, super unfortunate.
You're so wise.
Yes, you are.
You really
both
are. You really have the whole gamut, don't
Well,
you?
I think that's going to help a lot of
thank you.
people. Imagine if you guys had a resource of someone that's been through this that you could have listened to.
Yeah, this would have changed
This,
my life.
Oh my gosh.
This could
Would've
change
changed my
someone's
life.
life. And I think
Yeah.
I think you already have.
you have changed so many people's lives. I mean, we see it all over social media. Just all the good you're doing for people. I'm sure you guys get messages all the time with that, but
That's
you
really
guys are
nice.
awesome.
Thank
I think
you.
you're definitely
We love
helping
you
people.
both.
You're so nice.
Okay.
Turn it up.
Turn it up. Okay, let's get down to it. What was your first impression of Sarah and I?
Oh.
You mean together as a couple?
No. Yeah, together. When you first saw us together.
My
No.
first impression of Sarah, I think I was like a little bit intimidated by Sarah, but before I had met you, I just didn't know what to expect.
I was intimidated by you.
That's really fascinating. I think sometimes it's easy, like you see the 1M on someone's Instagram following and you're just like, ugh, like
The one
it's-
what?
like it's not normal, right? And I feel like I live in a
The
world
1
now
million.
where I'm working with 1 million. Yeah. Where I'm
Oh.
working with creators and it's normal and I understand that like people are just people, right? But I think back then, this was long enough ago that I was just like, oh my gosh. And then I met you and I was like, oh, she's
You're like,
just
oh, this girl.
like, oh, she's just Sarah, you know? And so, yeah, I obviously thought you were really beautiful and had heard like, you know what? I was also really confused at the sibling dynamic. I was like, guys, you both like the same things and have the same opinions and make the same jokes. And I'm like, why are you not best friends? Like, this is just stupid. I see you nodding your head.
Okay, I actually have to ask you, like, what did Ryan tell you about me before you met me? What was your idea of me going in, not as like social media
I don't
person, or
even
but
know.
like as
Did I
Ryan's
even like?
sister?
Did I even like say anything?
Yeah, a
How
little
could
bit.
you not? I feel like
Yeah,
I
well,
was.
we talked about
like
your family.
obviously we talked about like my family and stuff, but I don't even remember.
I think I was scared. I think the intimidation of you came from. I didn't know what Ryan had told you about me, and it
Gotcha.
scared me.
No, Ryan said, well, and there was also Derek too, right? Because I met both of you on the same day. And Ryan had been like, Derek's just like Derek. I was like, I don't know what that means, but
Yeah.
I guess I'll figure it
I was
out.
like,
get it.
Derek's just like the nicest guy ever, and
he's just like,
he's just such
"La-da,
a sweet
Derek."
soul. Like you're gonna get to know Derek, and he's awesome.
Yeah. I think he was always very positive. Ryan, when he's not with you, says very
Degrading.
no, the opposite. He says very kind, like he respects you a lot.
That's nice.
I do. I love you.
Not to my face, but just behind my back.
That's just what,
Yeah.
that's just what brothers are for.
I know. Okay, cool.
But yeah,
Hate to watch you go, but love to watch you leave.
so I think I was expecting you to be a little bit more superficial than you are. And I don't know if that's a weird thing to say, but like, I think you're really down to earth and care a lot about people. And, also like sometimes I feel like you and Ryan turn into your teenage selves. And I'm like,
100%.
wake up people.
Yeah, that still happens.
Like, this is not a big
Yeah.
deal. And so
You and Derek have been around for one too many.
Are you and Derek the people who like will let them duke it out and just kind of leave the room, or do you kind of insert
Are
yourself?
you kidding me? Charlie throws flames, gas on the fire, and then Derek just slinks away into the corner.
Yeah. Derek's like, I'm not doing this
I
right
just
now.
watch.
And then Charlie makes it worse and then walks away.
all right. Well, it is funny because I feel like now, like, you really do feel like a sister to me. And like, whereas before I was like really proper with you, I'm just like, you look dumb.
Well, Charlie's famous for just walking into a dinner or a room, dropping a bomb that starts everybody arguing, and then just leaves.
Yeah.
That's what he does. Our family dinners are usually.
You told me I was bringing pizzazz back to family dinner.
That's what I mean. That's
You
what
told
I
me you
mean.
loved me.
It gets high strung real
Yeah.
fast.
Okay, so what was your first impression of love?
Honestly, it was not very good.
What?
Really?
I'm actually shocked
No,
right now.
it wasn't bad. But
wasn't
You said not
good?
very good.
I thought you.
Do you remember it? Do you remember your first
like
time?
loved meeting you.
No, I loved meeting you too. But then this is so.
It just wasn't good.
No. I spoke too soon. I thought like I had so much fun with you, but then I thought that you didn't like me.
What?
And I honestly think it's because you had kids and we're watching your kids.
No, I wasn't.
Because we're in Hawaii.
No, Charlie.
Oh.
I came over to Sarah's house and you taught me the rolly dance.
I do remember that. Oh, that night was actually really fun. No regrets.
Oh, it wasn't good.
I'm gonna sink into the corner now.
No, I was talking about Hawaii because we
What?
would like.
I don't even remember the Hawaii one.
I feel like we would have conversations and then you'd be like disappeared and I'd be like, oh, okay.
Oh, sorry.
So I felt like you didn't want to talk to me, but then I realized you're actually just watching your kids.
Oh, yeah.
That was it.
That'll do it. I don't usually talk. It feels like when I have the kids, it's hard for me to even have a conversation, like one conversation
Right.
with
And
an
I
adult.
think it makes a lot of sense. But like after 3 days,
They're
I
like,
was
they're
like,
doing something dangerous or they're breaking something
Yeah.
or they're making a mess.
Yeah.
but you know when it changed?
What?
When we were playing in the waves together at Keiki Beach, I was like, this chick is cool. We had so
Were
much
we
fun.
we were looking for like sea glass, like under the
Yes,
water.
I
We were
remember
just getting
that.
destroyed.
Two big goggles and you're like, woo! You were like a little
That's
kid.
all it took. Put on the
just
goggles.
It was so fun.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
gosh.
I like you a lot.
Thanks.
I forgot about the first night. That was really fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was my first time meeting you, and I was like so excited. And then you taught me the rolly dance.
Yeah, that was fun.
Good times.
I don't remember the first time we met. Was it at Sarah and Derek's like wedding
It was
dinner?
so long ago.
I
No,
don't-
it had to have been before that.
It might have been.
I feel like I remember you telling me Lo is so cool. Like she has such a
Yeah,
cool
no, I thought you were like
So
really cool. Like I
surprising.
felt like you guys were like speaking a different language that I like couldn't like get in on. You guys were like witty and like silly and like all like really close already. And so I was just like, oh, that looks like fun. But like I didn't know you guys well enough to like join in on the banter.
Oh my gosh.
We're the fairly odds.
I will say,
Yeah.
though, I laugh so much when you're around.
Thanks. That's my biggest compliment.
It gets really
Thanks, that's what I love
silly
to hear the
really
most.
quickly.
What?
It gets really silly really quickly.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
It's also how I cope with things.
Oh, she's like, I'm feeling attacked right now.
LOL.
The longer that Ryan and Charlie are around, the thicker the skin gets.
So
love it.
what was my first impression of you?
Oh my. You're like,
Who came out the womb on your
ruining
birthday?
my life on
I
my
know
birthday.
she literally showed up on my birthday. We have the same birthday.
That's
which
crazy.
is it was like so annoying when we were kids, but now I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. At least
It
you
is
That was
remember.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's because we were always fighting over birthday parties when we were young.
Yeah. I feel
Again,
like
you guys, you're going back there.
my first impression of you was you were like the happiest, like sweetest baby ever. It wasn't until later that the demon came out.
Awesome.
I'm just kidding.
Awesome.
She would
Demon
like, I
logo.
remember like I would go and like do something like mean to her as a little kid, and then I would get punished for it and like put in my bedroom, and then she would like come and try and comfort me because I was sad because I got punished, and she'd be like, here's my stuffed animal.
That is true.
And
I think you made me who I was.
my mom was literally like, he just did a bad thing to you and you're like trying to go comfort him.
I actually would go in his room because he was
She
sad
just had
and
no
I would
idea.
sit
She was
and
just oblivious.
I would literally, I remember like rubbing your back going, it's okay, after he did something so mean to me.
This is when we're like
And then-
really little.
And then I got a backbone and then realized.
Then she got like conditioned, and
I
then she
got-
started fighting back, and then it like swung the opposite way where I could like, I had you wrapped around my finger. I could push your buttons so easily.
Still
it was
does.
horrible.
Still
Again,
does.
guys,
You're like, I wasn't even trying.
we can move on. We can let it go.
Let it go, let it go.
We're in a much
Okay, you
better
wanna
place
ask the
now.
last one?
All right, yeah. So
I can't believe I just was like, my first impression of you was bad.
Was not
And
good.
it wasn't even my first impression.
That's
You
like
didn't
so
remember my first
classic
impression?
though. Charlie forgets everyone he meets the first time. Like he has to meet someone like 3 or 4 times, and he still doesn't really remember their names. Like he's
Because
just
me and a lot of
like,
people, apparently you were
Okay.
forgettable.
all right,
Yeah.
let's talk about
Apparently.
let's roast you guys for a second.
Please.
Okay.
What's your biggest ick of each other?
Since being married.
Yeah, since being married.
I know what Charlie's is. I just don't know if he'll say
Wait,
it
what do you
because he's
think it
actually
is?
grossed out about it. My bodily functions.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot of them. I will say, growing up with you, there's a lot.
I feel like
I'm
I'm
like,
getting
how are
better.
you so gassy? I honestly think you need to go to the doctor.
No. I think I'm figuring it out. Like I really think that like there was some. Listen, so I have ADHD, and there are things that go along with that. Binge eating is one of them because this is a rapid like lesson. People with ADHD have lower dopamine levels. And so food is a common place that we go to get dopamine because you eat something you like, you get a little dopamine hit, and then it's so great. So I would binge eat a lot just because you get dopamine hits. And that's like very common with people with ADHD. And so my gut was always a mess because I would like eat too much food or eat too much of a weird thing. And so
You have the
I'm-
toots.
yeah, I'm like trying to figure it out, you know? And Charlie is like on the other end of the spectrum where he is
Never
like
toots.
so offended by any like gas or anything. And you know how like when you get married, like it's normal to like hear your partner like have a little bit of gas or like
A
burp.
little- this
Like it's
man-
just normal.
Sarah, you understand. This man will burp for like 3 hours straight.
That hasn't happened
do
in a long
understand.
time.
A 3-hour continuous burp. And I say, Ryan,
then he goes, "Did you hear that?"
are lactose intolerant.
Just think my
and he's like, no, I'm
feel
not.
bad for me. My tummy was
Our
upset.
mom told us we were lactose intolerant our entire lives.
Sarah,
and
it's
I am
true.
not lactose intolerant.
I'm pretty sure Ryan is.
Ryan's like, think of me. Like, that was
Ryan,
my...
I
That
I
was
was
love
like,
you.
my stomach was hurting so
I
bad.
love you, and I'm sorry. But truthfully, that's not even what I was going to say.
Oh,
What were you
well,
gonna say?
okay. I just roasted myself.
Oh, shit. You gave your own ick about yourself. Are you debating saying it?
Yeah.
Oh no. What's he gonna say?
I'm scared. You guys only truth bomb, so...
No, I just feel like you like. No, that's too mean. It's too real.
Uh-oh. That'll take it to the court. That'll take it to marriage
We're
court.
gonna go home and fight later.
Let's move on to Ryan's ick.
No.
And you can think about it.
Well, I just feel like sharp reactions to things that don't matter.
Oh, yeah.
And it freaks me out.
That's
I'm just
also
like,
an
I feel-
ADHD thing.
I feel like something is wrong, or like I feel like he's yelling at me, but I'm like, why are you so mad? That person's just driving 5 under the speed limit. Like, you don't have to scream right now.
I can see that. Like,
He's
I
a
get that
little
way with
road
ranger.
Rage.
You got a little road rage in
I'm
there.
learning
Like,
a
I
lot
get
about
passionate
myself.
about random things.
Also, I feel like I'm always in danger because he scares me all the time. So like if I'm taking a shower or brushing my teeth, I have to
on
like
edge.
You're like on edge.
yeah, and I have to like lock the door and like
Think about my whole life, Charlie.
I honestly don't know how you did it.
Do you remember that time when I scared you so bad in Montana? You were washing your face in the sink in the bathroom and I screamed, and I've never seen you so scared.
Because I was washing my face.
She was
always
like temporarily blind. And she like
That just reminded me of when Sarah, I scared you for the first time when I had first met you, and I came into the Beeston house and I jumped out at you and you chucked your phone at me, and luckily it didn't hit me. Yeah, I was so scared you're a thrower.
I'm a puncher, I'm a thrower, and
I don't think I've ever laughed so hard in my life that time that I scared you, though, because your whole head was in the sink and then you got scared and it looked like a freaking sea witch comes like flying out of the sink. She's just like, and she's just like
Honestly, he
blinded
waits till you're in
temporarily,
your most
like
vulnerable
screaming.
moment.
is
And then he
that not
attacks.
the time where everyone thinks that I hope there's no one behind me when you're doing
It's like the times when you're mindlessly not thinking, and then
And
you're like,
he has like a
get
sixth
got.
sense,
and my
he will
eyes
just-
are closed and washing the face.
The
That
last
was
thing
just
you're
me.
thinking is that you're gonna get got, and then when you get
No,
got,
I
you're
was
like,
thinking I was gonna
you
get got.
You were?
Yes,
Oh
I'm
my
always scared
gosh.
of that.
I'm
but
spilling my
that's because
secrets right
that's
now.
how I was raised. I was raised in the dark.
I was raised in the darkness.
you wouldn't last an hour there.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Okay, what's your ick for me? Be careful.
I don't
Oh
know.
my gosh, he loves me.
I'm perfect.
Well, I'm just like trying.
Let the record show.
I'm just like trying to think. Like an ick is like. Are we talking about just like something that like annoys me about you, or just like?
Kind of. It's like the thing that like they do repeatedly that you're just like,
Ugh.
bah. That's a good way to describe
It's just
it.
like an ick.
You know, it's probably like when I sit across from you at a restaurant while we're eating. Charlie doesn't notice that he spits a lot while he's eating.
Spits.
Yeah, so I'll strategically try and sit next to him when we're at dinners, and then sorry for whoever we're on a date with, like across the table is like just getting showered.
Because of talking?
He just-
I just
Or are you
stuff-
gleeking?
There's like full chunks of food that fall out of his mouth. Like it is quite the sight.
And this isn't a one-time thing. This happens often.
No, it's every
No,
time he eats.
truthfully, I can't even argue this. He's right. And I try, but somehow just every time I'm eating something, there's always an incident. Or
There's always an
I'm
incident.
always the person who drops something or spills the glass. And every single time I'm making a mess.
Oh,
And
wow.
I try. I
He's
think
a
the harder
very-
I try, the worse he is.
Just like,
He's a very messy eater.
that is so funny.
So I guess that's a good ick.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
we
I
were
love
gonna end on. Do you have any icks of us? Do we ick you? I know Ryan has some for me. I just know it.
Um
I'm scared.
I genuinely like you both.
No, I know, but is there something we do that you're like, bleh?
I don't know. I do feel like you like to, Sarah, you like to just like take bites out of things and then put it back.
I think that's more of a mom thing.
The apple doesn't far too far from
No, you're
I
like
like
you're
to
like
dig in the middle of desserts.
you're like really
That's
you're
worse.
like really enjoying something. You'll like walk up and like take a bite out of a breadstick and then just like put it back.
That's not.
I do that. I'll admit to that.
Wait, I actually don't feel like I do that. I will rip.
Yeah.
I
don't know
do
if I can
take
think
stuff
of
in
an
the
ick.
middle of desserts.
Honestly, I think the closest thing to an egg for you would just be not answering your phone.
Yeah.
It's okay. We've been there. We don't need to
I'm
go back.
trying.
No, I don't think I
You're
have
doing
a
so good.
I don't think I have an ick for low. I feel like I don't spend enough time around you to like actually like really dig into like the
I have an ick for you.
Maybe I'll think about like Lake Powell. Maybe there's an ick from Lake
What?
Powell.
Yeah, maybe.
No, Lo, there is one swimsuit you have that I just hate.
Which one? The
don't
colorful one?
No, I could pick it out of your closet, but for some reason I just hate it.
Is it really colorful?
I know
look
that's
like?
so stupid and it doesn't matter at all. But it's
That
just
is your
like,
most vulnerable state. That is mean.
I'm sorry. I love your style, and there's just one that for some reason I just unnaturally
Well, she
hate.
needs to know. 'cause
I'll
it's
find
not-
it. I don't. If you next time you wear it, I'll be like,
That's the one.
But what if
I'll
you
be like,
love it?
I'll be like putting it on like, oh gosh, I hope
Is
this
this
isn't the one.
it? No, I think we're gonna have to go raid your closet after
Yeah,
this
you're
and
gonna
figure
have
out
to
which
tell
one
me.
it
I'm gonna
is.
be honest. The one time when I thought I looked cute and they were like, "You're wearing a hospital gown," I put that dress in the DI pile the next day.
Nobody
And
knows what
honestly-
DI is.
Oh,
the thrift store,
I
the
donated.
Goodwill.
That in the
I
thrift-
donated the
donated
dress
that.
the next day.
Honestly,
It's Utah donations.
I hope whoever's wearing that is not wearing it.
Hopefully nobody ended up with it.
I
in
don't
the
even
end.
remember what dress you're
What is
talking
it?
about.
It was a sweater dress that had a hood.
It was literally like pale blue
was
floral
gray.
with a tie
It
back.
didn't have floral.
It was
solid gray.
That's even worse.
I don't know what one you're talking about.
It was a sweater dress and it had a little hood. It was soft. It was winter.
Had a little hoodie.
Yeah, and never wore it again.
Well, I
I
don't
didn't know we
remember
had
that.
that much power.
Look at that.
I mean, I said it. I'll say it again. Don't ask for an opinion if you don't want it.
I didn't ask for an opinion. You
Oh.
just said it looked like a hospital gown.
Well,
And Lo didn't ask for an opinion on her vase either. So
that's true.
The base
I
is
just get
bad.
'em.
Is it new?
They just, no.
So what's your
I've
guys'
had
ick of
it.
us?
What?
What's your
Yeah,
guys'
what's
ick
your
of
ick?
us? You didn't tell us.
that we don't ask for your opinion and then you give your opinion. I'm kidding. That was a joke.
Oh.
It was a joke.
Let me think.
Your
I don't think
Your
I'm gonna be able to
burps.
think of one.
Yeah, it really is insane. No one.
poking my sensitive areas that women don't like to be poked.
I hate
in.
getting tickled. That's
Please
I
be
hate getting
specific
tickled.
because that
Your
could
sides.
sound interesting.
The sides,
sides.
anywhere that like has a little extra cushion.
For the push-in?
Oh my gosh. Charlie,
I don't know how. That's my egg for him.
Lo, help me.
New egg. Third egg.
Saying the wrong thing at the right time.
I actually don't think I'm gonna be able to think of one.
I genuinely like you both though. If the only ick I have is that I don't like a one outfit you wore, I think we're doing pretty
Yeah,
well.
that is true. I will take it.
Nice
And-
unison.
That is true. And on that note, let's end this thing. What do you say?
Yeah.
But before we do, we want to plug their YouTube channel and their Instagram. So we'll put them up on the YouTube if you are watching. And if you're listening,
It's Ryan Clifford on Instagram.
I'm Mr. Charlie Bird, and our YouTube is Charlie and Ryan.
so go check them out. And we love you guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you guys so much for joining
Thanks for
us.
having us.
Really
This was
fun.
really fun.
We had laughs, we had cries, we had everything that we
Roasts.
needed. We had roasts.
We're going to
loved
go
so
have to
many
do some
roasts.
therapy after this podcast.
We all need a group hug. But anyway, thank you guys so much. And we'll see you guys next week.
Love you
Bye.
girls.